Flying a jet aircraft to me has to be the most boring job in the world. Just totally bored with it. You take off and you're on the autopilot already. So you sit there and you're staring out the window, and the water bombers, there's absolutely no autopilots, nothing automated in them whatsoever on the old 215s. You had to fly them, and the 215 is an unstable airplane, which is what you want for the job it does.
Why is that?
Because you can maneuver it at the last minute.
Oh.
You see old bombers, they were very stable airplanes, and you had to line it up, and to get that airplane to change its mind to move over a little bit was a big job.
Yeah.
The 215, you just give it a kick and over it goes. If you ever go out and look at the 215, you notice the wings are perfectly flat. There's no dihedral on them or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's short with a big tail on it and all that. That's an unstable airplane. But it's not dangerous. It's just unstable. You have to fly it.
Yeah.
You take your hands off it, and it it wanders off.
So, would you mind taking us through a day of aerial firefighting? Like, when would you find out that you were needed for that kind of operation?
Right now? Yeah, well, normally, I was based out of Thompson with the water bombers, but during the spring and fall, we did fly out of Gimli. And I did fly out of the PA, but nevertheless, it was all the same. We usually showed up at the airport around 10 o'clock in the morning, and just sit around and wait until you were called. Some days you didn't get calls, some days you got called 3 or 4 times.
So how many people would work in the crew of a water bomber?
Just 2.
2?
When you're flying,
Yeah.
A group is 2 airplanes and a bird dog. So if we went out as a group and went someplace, we had 2 engineers.
Okay.
Each airplane has an engineer. Yeah. And then you'd have the bird dog officer on the bird dog, plus the bird dog pilot.
Yeah. What kind of plane would you use for the?
They use Cessna 310s.
Oh, okay.
With twin-engine airplane, it's fairly fast. You have to have an airplane, a bird dog airplane that can beat the water bomber to the fire.
Oh, okay. So how do you determine when and where to drop the water?
That's experience, and watching where the wind is.
Yeah.
Most of the time we're dropping downwind, and a lot of the guys overshoot the fire, but the residual spray comes off and it hits the fire, but sort of ineffectively. And so, I think to myself I should drop a little bit earlier. There was one time up in the Northwest Territories, we were working this big fire coming off the lake and around and dropping downwind on the fire. Then they said, go out and hit that clump of trees over there. It's sort of in the clear, but it was burning up real good and it was going to start another fire. So I went there and had this old fellow sitting with me in the right-hand seat, and I was flying, and we had a pretty good wind blowing. And geez, it's about a half a mile before I got the fire, and I let the load go, And my co-pilot there, that's way too early. And the bird dog says, right on, and the water just carried, and I just nailed it right on. Not bragging, but that's just the way it happened.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Oh, I might as well brag.
On a day like that, how many drops would you do?
We'll stay on a fire until the ground crews get there.
Oh, I see.
A water bomber will not put a fire out.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we just knock it down till the fire crews get there, the ground crews get there.
Yeah.
And we may or may not stay to help them out. I had one day up in Thompson. We were coming back from a fire out east in the Gillam area, and we were coming by Split Lake, and there was a fire going there, and they figured they could handle it with the ground crew. And then the ground crew asked if we'd come in and drop a few loads on it, so we did. We were scooping off the river, the Odie River. And the bird dog says, you got a big flare up down the south side there, you go around and hit it. So I went around and I hit it, and I did another good job. I knocked that thing right down. And then after that, we were sent back to Thompson to fuel and wait for another fire. The next day, I was not out at the airport. The fire crew off that fire, the next day, walked from the city of Thompson, which is 20 miles, out to the airport to say thanks. I saved their lives.